G'day again everyone, and welcome back to my geometric figures series. This one is all about congruent triangles. So that's what we are going to have a bit of a look at in this video. Congruent triangles. Congruent, that word congruent simply means that things are identical. They have an identical size and shape. They are identical in every way. Even though these two shapes in this diagram have been rotated, they are still identical. So I can pop some letters in the corners, and I can pop some more letters over here. Okay. E corresponds with A, F with B, G with C, and H with D. But these two shapes are congruent. Okay. Now, if I want to say that they're congruent, I would use a symbol. Because I don't want to have to write out the word congruent every single time. So there is a symbol for me to use. I just need to spell properly. Okay, so the symbol for congruency is just 3 parallel horizontal lines. That is our symbol for congruency. Okay, that's our symbol there. Now, if I was to write that these two shapes were congruent, that would be a congruency statement. Okay, so the congruency statement is then A, B, C, D, and my congruency symbol, so my 3 horizontal parallel lines, and then just the letters for the second shape. So that's saying shape 1 is congruent to shape 2. Now, how do we know that these are congruent? Okay, well, matching sides. Matching sides are quite often opposite matching angles. And we will sometimes use the word corresponding. Because they're in the same place on each shape. Now, as you can see down below there on the bottom of the screen, there are some congruency tests that we can run to see whether shapes are congruent or not. So let's have a bit of a look at those. Congruency tests. All right, we have 4 congruency tests that we're going to be using. Our first congruency test is called side, 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 or triple S. Okay, so it is the triple S test, and what you're looking for with this one are 3 pairs of matching sides and you want them to be equal. Okay, 3 pairs of matching sides are equal. Our next test is side angle side, or SAS. Now, there is a really good reason why the A is in the middle and not at the end or at the front, and it's not just because that would spell something a little bit not okay. It's because that angle has to be in between the two sides, and we call that an included angle. So what we're looking for here, all right, are two pairs of matching sides and the included angle to be equal. Must be the included side. So there must be angle, sorry. So side, the angle in between, and the other side. So it's the angle actually formed by those two sides meeting. Okay, that's what we mean by included angle. And if you remember, that would be called the vertex. Okay, so that's our included angle. Our third test is angle, angle, side. Or AAS. And you've probably managed to conclude from the other two tests that what we're looking for here are two angles, and I'll say corresponding angles ahead of myself. So two corresponding angles and any pair of matching sides. Will need to be equal for this one. Okay, so you can see that. So for this one, for angle, angle, side, we want two corresponding angles and any pair of matching sides to be equal. Now our last one, there is a special one that can't be used on all triangles. It can only be used on one type of triangle, and that is because it is for the right angle. So there must be a right angle. We want the hypotenuse, which we only get in right angled triangles. And then we just want another side. So that is RHS. That's that test. All right. What we're looking for in RHS, okay, is for a right angle. And those guys will be A, corresponding, and B, equal because they're right angles and they have to be 90 degrees. The hypotenuse, and you can't have a right angle triangle without the hypotenuse being the side opposite the right angle. And any pair of matching sides. So any of the other two sides, as long as they're matching or corresponding, if they're equal, as is the hypotenuse and of course the right angle, we're going to have ourselves congruent triangles. So that's all our theory taken care of. Let's smash out a couple of examples to finish our video off. Alrighty. So, which congruency test are we going to use to show that these triangles are congruent? So each pair of triangles is congruent, and we want to be able to identify the test that is being used. Okay, so if you have a look at our first one, All right, we have the angle there. We have this side over here and that side there. They're matching. And then if we look closely, these two sides are also matching. So we've got two sides and an angle. And we only have one test for that. And the really good thing about this is that our angle is included in our sides. It is the angle formed by our sides. So the test for this one is SAS. Okay, because we have two pairs of matching sides. And the included angle are equal. Okay, so that's our first one. Now let's look at B. B, we have ourselves a right angle. We've got the right angle, we've got the hypotenuse, and we've got a pair of matching sides. So for this one, we're going to use RHS. Okay, and that is because we have those features. So we have a right angle, we have the hypotenuse, and we have a matching pair of sides, or corresponding pair of sides, that are equal. So all those bits and pieces are equal, so we're using the RHS test. Our third one there, well, we've got two angles and a side. When we've got two angles and a side, well, we're going to use the AAS. Right, because we have two angles and a pair of matching sides. Two angles and a pair of matching sides. Use the correct word. These puppies are equal. So that's that test. And our last test uses our last set of parameters, which is triple S. Because all of our matching or corresponding sides are equal. Okay, so there's our 3 tests done and dusted, or our 4 tests rather. 2 more little questions to look at. We're going to find the values of some pronumerals now using those tests. So we can see there that we've been told that yes, these triangles are congruent. It is in the question. These triangles are definitely congruent according to our question. So that means we want to match up some pairs. So if I want to find the value of x, there's x, its corresponding side in the other triangle is 5. So x equals 5 because they are the matching pair of sides. Okay. Now, if I want to look at y, well, there's y. Its corresponding angle is over here. It's the 7. And it is the same reason as before. Y equals 7. Because they are a matching pair of sides. So that's that one discovered. Our next one's a little bit trickier. But it's not that difficult. If you have a look, we have a pair of matching angles with A and with B. You can see there that A is included between the side with 3 stripes and the side with 2, and on the other triangle that is the same as the 25. So they are the corresponding angles. So therefore A has to equal 25 degrees because they are corresponding or matching angles. And that means that B, which corresponds in the triangle to the other B, alright, so those two B's do correspond with each other, but that's not really helping us at the moment. We can use the angle sum of a triangle to work this out because we know A is 25. So B is going to be 180 minus 100 plus 25, which is 180 minus 125, and that gives us, for our answer, the mighty number of 55 degrees. 55 degrees, and that is the angle sum of a triangle. That is the base for congruency. It is a very short introduction, but it does give you a pretty decent foundation. That is congruency in shapes and triangles mostly. Hopefully this has been a little bit interesting and informative, and you can get something out of it to help you with your problems. Good luck with those, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.